how do you miter these corners in a nice, complete, finished way. And this is the method that I found. I thought it was brilliant, and I said, you know what? I have to show you and share with you how to actually make a corner like this. This is a Double Lush Velvet Minky from Riley Blake. I have kits available. The piece of Double Lush Velvet in here is 50 by 60. And then we also have included 2 packages of the satin binding that goes around it. All right, so the piece I'm going to be working with today is just a little 17 by 17. And this was probably almost as big as the one my daughter had. It was very small, and she would just carry it around with her all over the house, and she'd sit and watch her cartoons. She loved that little thing. All right, so this is just a little piece, 17 by 17. But I am going to start with my satin binding. So I have quite a length here. And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to give it a press. Because when it comes off of this reel in here, there's a lot of wrinkles to it and creases in it. And we don't want that. We want it to be nice and smooth. So I have this iron on medium heat. It's not on high. It's turned down to medium for a satin binding. There we go. All right. The next thing I want to show you is I want to draw your attention to the satin binding. Do you see how one side is shorter than the other? That's intentional. Don't try to fix that. That's a good thing. That's going to help you. This is the one that goes on top. The longer one goes behind. That way when you're top stitching, all you have to do is pay attention to the top one. And as long as you hit that top one, you know without a doubt you have hit the bottom one and you're going to be just fine. All right? So you're not going to have any gaps in your binding and have to go back and fix it. Okay? All right. So to get started, one product that I found that made this so much easier was Wash Away Wonder Tape. And I know that I have shown this to you before. I think I've used it in bag making, purse making. We're doing handles on purses, that kind of thing. This is amazing stuff. And true to its name, wash away means when you wash this blanket, it will completely dissolve and wash away. So it's not left in the project. All right, I'm going to put my satin binding this way. So this is my top is facing up, the bottom is down. I'm going to open this up just like this. And I'm going to take a piece of this Wash Away Wonder Tape. And I'm going to adhere this to my satin binding. Actually, I'm going to start a little further down. Likes to curl. There we go. Just start a little further down at the end. All right. So now I'm just adhering this. I'm just lightly tapping this to tack it down. That's probably enough. Yep, I only need this much, so I can cut it about right here. Okay, tack it down. And then I'm just going to take my paper and peel that right away. Sometimes to get that started, I grab a hold of the bottom side of that tape and the paper releases right off of it, just like that. Perfect. All right, now I'm going to take my blanket. I'm going to lay my blanket on here. And I'm just coming up to the fold. You see that? I'm just tapping my blanket ever so slightly. I need a little bit more for that corner. I cut that a little bit short. That happens, don't worry about it. Just cut another little piece like that. And put it down. There we go. No problem. All right. You have now secured that to this binding. You see how that's not going to move anywhere. That is really important. I found that before I did this, this Double Lush Velvet will tend to crawl all over the place. And you've got a satin binding here, which is also slick, right? So you need to kind of come at this from a different way and say, okay, I'm going to be the boss of my fabric and I'm going to make you behave. This is the way I found to do it. All right. Now I'm going to use some Wonder Clips. I'm going to dump these on the table. I'm going to use a few of these. And we're just going to clip this right here. All right. So now, to get started, we're going to focus on this end right here. I'm going to take a small ruler and I'm going to draw a line a ½ inch away from my minky. You know what? I can see that this isn't quite perfectly square. Let's see if I can, no, I'm going to trim this end. I need this to be square. Oh, it is square. All right, let's put it on there again. Try not to stretch it. I probably was stretching the minky a little bit. There we go. It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. That's better. That's a straight edge. Okay. You just take, you saw me just rip that off of there and put it back down. Very easy. All right. I'm going to take a friction pen and a ruler, and I'm going to mark a ½ inch away from the edge of this blanket. Okay. The next measurement I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 3/8 of an inch over from this line. 1, 2, 3/8, right there. Now I'm going to draw another line. The second line that I just drew, this is a stitching line. All right, I'm going to actually sew on that line. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other end of my binding and I'm going to lay it on here because I need to measure the width. So I'm laying this right next to my stitching line. I'm just going to put a dot here, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take a couple of pins and I am going to pin this. You could just clip it and hope that everything stays together. But I don't trust this stuff because I already know it's going to move around because it's minky and satin. I don't want it to go anywhere. I'm going to pin that just like that. See me use 2 pins. That's not normal for me. I'm using 2 pins on this. So I'm going to take this to the machine. I'm going to start here. I'm going to sew across. I'm going to come to here and then I'm going to sew up. Okay, so I'm going to use a dark pink thread to stitch this with. Here we go. Right on my dot, just a little thin line. All I'm trying to do is hang on to this stuff. You can see it's squirrely, right? It moved a little bit on me. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to sew up, just like that, and cut my thread. All right, so I stayed 1/8 of an inch on the side of the minky. Even though my drawn line is all the way over here, I improvised and I just did my 1/8 of an inch right next to that minky because I can see that minky and I can see that this binding has moved. So that's why I stayed away from that line. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut this at 1/2 inch because I need this binding to be 1/2 inch from the edge so that when we come around the other side and I join them together, they will join easier. All right? Okay, so now we're going to leave this all just like this. Let's go to this other corner. Okay? Smooth everybody out. We're going to find our ruler. Here it is. And again, I'm going to mark an 1/8 of an inch beyond the edge of the minky. Just like that. That's a stitching line. I'm going to take my binding. I'm going to measure over the width of my binding and put a dot. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing here and go up. This time, I'm going to try to stay on the line. So let's pin this a little bit different. What if we pin this like this? That should hang on to that. Let's pin it like this. Let's see if we have better luck that way. All right, here we go. So now to do a miter on this, I'm going to move my pin back, or my clip, moving that away. I'm now going to take my binding. I'm going to open it up like this, and I'm going to turn it like this. Okay, you see how all my binding is now back on top of itself. I'm going to take a clover point turner. I'm going to pop out this corner and make sure there's not a lot of binding there. I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to work on the back first. What I want to do is I want this even with the bottom of this. And I want you to see, you see how high up my stitch is? That's never going to show. All right, that's going to be completely enclosed. You're never going to see this. All right, so I'm pulling this so the seam is right on the edge. And all I'm looking at is the bottom of this is even. I'm not paying attention to the front yet. The front is coming, but right now, we're on the back of this. So I'm going to take a pin, and I'm just going to ever so slightly grab a hold of this, like this. And I want that to stay right there. Flip it back over. Now we're going to do the front. Now I'm going to pull the front down. Make sure this is pulled over. So now my stitching is right on the edge, just like that. And this is now even right here. This is the only part I'm worried about right here, is even. All right? So this, I'm just kind of ignoring all this over here. Okay, so let's put a pin in this. And now we're going to put another pin in this. All right. So now, as before, I need to see where to miter this. And to miter this properly, I need to find the width of my binding perfectly measured on the miter. Okay, so I'm going to take this right on the edge to right here. I'm going to make a mark right here. Okay, I'm going to take my little ruler, and now I'm going to draw a corner from here to here. I'm going to do an angle straight into the corner, just like this. Okay. All right. Now, I don't want to sew all the way into this point. I want to come down about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to measure 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to put a mark. There we go. This is a start, this is a stop, and you're definitely back stitching at both points. All right, let's go do that. All right, so now I can see exactly where the center of my foot is right here. I know my needle is going to come down there. So I am just beside my line. I'm just to the inside of it right here. That's where I want to be. Right there. Okay? Now don't forget to do a back stitch while you're there. There we go. I'm going to keep on sewing all the way to this dot. You see I'm sewing next to the line. I'm not actually on the line. I'm just right next to it. That's because of the depth of the of the whole blanket all together in that corner. Cut our thread. That's how we're going to do that. All right, I'm going to cut my threads. Take out my pins. Oop, there's another one. All right, now I'm going to turn it back. Now I'm going to pull this corner out, just like this. Get my binding to behave here. There we go. Look at that. Look at this corner. You see how it's already finished now? That miter is perfect in this corner. We're going to take a clover point turner and stick this up in here. I can go on the other side as well and get these points. A little tiny thread right there. I'm going to get that. There we go. Okay. There's your miter right there. So now you can see, well, I just have a little thread. I must not have trimmed a tail of a thread. There we go. That's all you're going to be able to see. So you don't, remember that big long stitch I had back here? Well, that's hidden all the way back here in this. So you'll catch all this when we come around to stitch this down. You'll never see it, okay? All right, so now I'm going to continue on. I'm going to use my point turner up in this corner to just kind of smooth all this out. Just kind of work with this minky a little bit. It tends to roll into a corner, and so I just kind of, there we go. I just kind of smooth it out. You do have a little bit of a ridge right here, and that's because you have that seam allowance that you've sewn there and back and forth with. That's what this little ridge is right here, but it's not going to hurt anything. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my Wonder Tape right here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my next two corners, and when I come back, we're going to do the very end, and I'm going to show you how to attach the ends together. All right? All right, I'm back, and I have 3 corners done, 1, 2, and 3. Now, let's take a look at corner number 4. So remember we left this just like this. We left this end just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this end up just like this and bring this in. Okay, I'm just going to kind of enclose that in there. All right. Now I'm going to take a ruler, use the 1/2 inch mark and a rotary cutter, and I'm going to cut this a 1/2 inch beyond this. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to unstick this a little bit. I had this stuck. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to join this end to this end, but I need to do that right sides together. All right? And to do that, we're going to take this end. This is the back. This is the back. So I'm going to put my back edges together like this and fold this around to the front. Okay, so I have my front edge and my back edges are matched. We're going to clip that. Now let's test that and make sure we did that right, because I don't want to twist in this at this point. I really don't. So when I open this up ever so slightly, I can see this looks like it's going to join in one continuous piece of binding, right? One continuous strip. This did not get twisted or anything weird in there. Okay, I'm going to fold this back again. Okay, now I'm going to take the time to actually make sure that these edges are completely even. All right, so I'm going to take my back edge first. I always start in the back. I'm lining up my raw edge, this bottom edge here, and we need a pin. I'm going to go all the way through because I don't want that to move, just like that. Turn this over. There we go. On the front, same thing. I'm going to fold this down. Again, I can see my front edge is right here. I'm matching all of my edges just like this. Okay. Beautiful. I'm going to pin this as well, all the way through. You know what? That's a little difficult because my other pin is in my way, so I'm going to undo that and just go through all layers all together. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, that stayed where it's supposed to. We're good. Okay, I'm going to take my little scrap of binding here, and now I'm going to measure from the edge, right, from the edge of my blanket right to here. Now I'm going to draw my line corner to corner, just like you would. So I can make a little mark up here. This is where the edge of my blanket is. I can feel it in there. It's like right here. Ruler. I'm doing this upside down. Okay, so I have that point to this point, all right? Let's draw the line. Kind of go over my little pin there. Okay, now I'm going to go start sewing. I'm going to start right here, back stitch all the way off to the end of this and back stitch at the very end. Remember how on the other 3 corners we were leaving 1/8 of an inch? This one, you're going to come all the way off, all right? Let me put a second pin in this. I can already see this is going to be a problem child right here. There we go. All right, I'm ready to go. I'll see you at the machine. Okay, so I sewed all the way to the end and all the way to here, and I tried to stay on this side of the line. Okay, all right, now, before I turn this, I want to trim this seam allowance because it's very large. I don't want this giant seam allowance in there. So I'm going to trim this seam allowance to 1/8 of an inch, being very careful not to cut my threads. There we go. So I didn't cut my threads, they're still there, and I'm like at 1/8 of an inch. All right, let's turn it. Let's see what we got. Okay, use our point turner here. Stick this all the way up in here. I can go on the other side of this. Work this point. Just kind of work this fabric out of here. All right. Whoop, that's the back side. Let's look at the front. All right, good to go. All right, now I have one more step to do before we go sew this together. All right, I'm going to sew this with a zigzag stitch, but before I do that, just kind of gather all my clips here. I am going to take the time to pin this all the way around because I know this edge right here, you see when I can just ever so slightly pull this, it lays down flat. That's what I want. So I'm going to start pinning this all the way along this edge. I've tried to sew this without pinning this, and this edge does walk around on you. So I take the time to pin this. You'll be happy that you did. Just kind of work that minky around until you get it to where you want it. It's very stretchy and very movable, so it's very easy to manipulate it to make it do what you want it to do. All right, We have it all pinned. We are ready to go to the machine. Yes, this is the final thing we're gonna do. This is gonna be the fastest part of the whole thing. We're gonna do a wide zigzag stitch. My settings on this Bernina are, the stitch is number 2, which is a zigzag. I have my wide stitch plate on, my wide foot on, and I'm gonna use a 6.0 width and a 2.5 length, all right? But when I start, I'm going to start in a corner and I'm going to leave it on my straight stitch and I'm just going to go down and back just to put a little back stitch right before I start my zigzag. Then I'm going to change to my zigzag stitch and start zigzagging. All right, let's go do that. All right, so I'm just going to do a straight stitch forward and backwards. I just want to put a back stitch in here to lock in my zigzag stitch. All right, I'm going to change over to my zigzag. My needle will jump. There it goes. All right, so I want one side of my needle to hit the minky and one side to hit the satin binding. All right, here we go. Let's do this. We're going to pull pins as we go. All right, so when I get to a corner, I want to stop with my needle to the left. I'm going to spin it around and keep on going, just like that. Okay, so now when I get to the end of this, I'm going to end it just the way I started it. So I have my zigzag up to here, put your needle to the left, change back to your single stitch, maybe, there we go. I'm just going to go backwards. I just want to lock in my stitches, just like that. All right, and there we have it. We have our cute little blanket ready to hand to your toddler and let her just go for it. In the car, these are nice in the car. They like to play with them in the car. Play with that little satin binding, a little snuggly something in the middle. It's so cute. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a wonderful time making your own snuggly, cuddly blanket for your own little one. I'll see you next time on a Shabby Fabrics tutorial.